Yeah, let's just click this intro. Hello, good evening, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. First of all, before we get started, if you're new to this channel, please hit subscribe. Do what you can to help out this channel. I'll get very close to 900 subscribers. Subscribing is completely free. Doesn't cost anything. This will massively help me out to keep growing the channel to get closer to 900 subscribers. Also, you can find me on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. I'm very excited for this podcast this evening. This evening, I'm joined by a very special guest, former Aston Villa Central defender, Shaun Teale. He won the League Cup with Aston Villa in 1994 against Man United, which was a very successful period in the club's history. Shaun Teale played for Aston Villa from 1991 to 1995. Also, Shaun Teale in 1993 was part of the Aston Villa team that finished runners-up. It's an absolute pleasure to have a legend like you on the show. Shaun, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Chad. How are you?
Yes, yeah, it's been a tough few days, but you've really cheered me up to get you on the show.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad about that.
And I've been in the hospital for a week with an infection and COVID. It's been a tough week for me and my family. But I keep fighting. I don't let anything stop me.
No, that's the right way to do it. Keep going.
And I'm always positive as well.
You sound it.
So, Shaun, I know you had knee surgery not long ago.
Yeah, two weeks ago yesterday, I'd had an issue with having no cartilage in the inside of my left knee. So I was given a choice of either a full knee replacement, a partial knee replacement, or a procedure where they cut down my shin, snap both my bones, realign them, and then plate them. So I chose the latter.
How's the recovery going?
It's slow, but it was never going to be quick because I'm on crutches for 6 weeks, and then they've told me it's anywhere between 6 to 12 months rehab. So I know it's going to be a long journey. So it is what it is. You know, I suppose the only real problem is as you get older. I'm now 60. You don't heal as quick, so things take that little bit longer. So, I just have to take my time and do what I'm told to do and make sure I do it right.
Well, before we get more into the interview, I want to talk about a little bit from last night against Olympiacos. What did you think of the game?
It was very disappointing, to be honest. I mean, I thought we started off okay. I thought the goal, the first goal being disallowed, was really harsh. I mean that kind of pull on a shirt in the box you see every week in the Premier League, and they're very rarely given. So I thought that should have been us 1-up, but then, for whatever reason, we were too easy to get through. And to be fair to the lad, he finished his 2 chances first half. He finished them really well, but we were just too open. We had no flow to the game. We didn't get into the game really.
Because and then it wasn't the ball a few times, a few sloppy passes.
Yeah, we did. I think sometimes, I mean, who am I to say? Unai Emery knows what he's doing, but I think sometimes we overplay when we don't need to. I think we're at our best when we're hitting teams on the break with pace and power. Hence Watkins' goal. That was all about moving the ball sharply, and 2-3 touches, we're in behind them, and Ollie scores, and then you come out second half, and we're all over them like a rush, and you think, here we go, game on. We get the equaliser, and I'm sat here thinking, that's it. We'll go on and win this game now, 3-2, 4-2 ourselves. And then, of course, the decision for the penalty. And I suppose if you look at it in the daylight, it's a penalty. His arm's up. His arm's not in a natural position. So
yeah, I don't think the referee. I don't think he helped matters.
No, I don't. I certainly don't think he helped matters. I thought he was very, very poor. The whole debacle of our penalty and the way they acted up and stopped Dougie taking it quickly. Maybe that's a learning point. Maybe we need to learn. You disrupt as much as you can disrupt. Emmy's the world's best at it on his day.
But these European competitions. We're going
to of course.
Get more experience with all these
competitions. Yeah. I suppose everybody will have left Villa Park last night in the doldrums, but then realised that Chelsea have beat Tottenham and we're probably one win away from being in the Champions League. Which then brings even bigger questions to Aston Villa Football Club about the size of our squad, the quality of our squad. To go and play in them kind of games against what could be, you could get drawn against anybody. You can get drawn against some of the best sides in the world, and we've got to be in a position where we can try and compete. We saw how hard it was for Newcastle this year to compete at that level, and we're going to be in the same boat. Really, is it a year too early as being in the Champions League? Probably.
Yeah.
But you know what? You take what you're given, don't you?
But Newcastle, they are a decent side.
Yeah, they are. They are, but I was reading some of the comments today. Against Maccabi Tel Aviv, they got beat 4-1 at home, and you think, well, hang on a minute, they're not that great then. If they're getting beat 4-1 at home, they've been 2 down, or they've lost 8 games at home, 2-0 or something like that this season. So, I know we're all down in the doldrums at the moment because of the result last night, but it ain't over. It's half time.
Well, I think we look a bit tired, I think.
Well, it's understandable though, isn't it? Our squad is so depleted at the moment with long-term injuries. Let's face it, we've had Emi Buendia and Tyrone out all season. We've lost Kamara till October of next season.
Yes.
Jacob Ramsey's barely played 5 minutes the whole season. And then we've had Pau Torres has been out for a good portion. We've had suspensions. We've had other injuries. It's hardly surprising, and we are literally down to bare bones. I think at the moment we haven't got great backup. We lost Tielemans at the weekends. We could have done without losing him because he's got the experience we need.
I think we need Paul Torres as well. I think we missed him.
Yeah, I don't really know why he didn't play. I don't know what the mindset was for that. I go back to the same old thing again. In Unai we trust, and he knows what it's like. It's not like he doesn't know what he's doing because he does. He's done it that many times.
Genius, yeah.
But I did find it a real strange decision not to play Pau Torres. Was he looking after certain players ready for the weekend, knowing that the weekend was probably going to be as big a game again? Who knows? Only the boss knows, and like I said, for me, if he makes changes, then I just trust him. And I don't think Clement Longley played that badly, if I'm quite honest. I don't think a lot of it was down to him. I just think certain players on the night didn't perform to their standards, and that's unfortunate.
I was going to get more into the interview then. So what are your memories for the first day you signed for Aston Villa?
First day I signed for Aston Villa. So I signed. I met Ron down in Bournemouth on the Saturday, and I travelled up to. We agreed agreed the signing. I travelled up on the Sunday, signed on the Monday morning, and then we trained at Cadbury's because we were literally flying straight out to Germany for a pre-season tour. So I'd literally I hadn't even seen Bodymore and I hadn't even seen Villa Park by this stage. So I'd literally gone out the hotel with my bags, down to Cadbury's, been given a load of gear, and off we went to Germany. So it was a bit sort of whirlwind. I didn't know at the time, but I was sort of, at that stage, I think I was between 2 and 3 weeks behind the rest of the squad in pre-season training. So although I went to Germany, I didn't play in Germany. All I did was basically train every day, get me running in, get my fitness up, ready for the season starting. So, and of course, coming from somewhere like Bournemouth, as it was at that stage, not a Premier League club, I really didn't know where I stood, as in coming into the squad. Was a bought to play? Was a bought to be a squad player? Who knows? And I didn't know at the time. I now know because I've had conversations with Andy Gray years after me leaving the club, and it appears that I was bought to play. So, I made my debut in the end at Villa Park in Paul Birch's testimonial, which was an honour to play in. And we played Wolves at Villa Park. I think we lost. I think we lost on the night 2-1, but it was my first outing in Villa colours at Villa Park. So it was good to get that out of the way and settle into training ready for the season.
Well, I bet it's something you never forget. I bet it always stays with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can remember the day I met Ron. I can remember the conversation, the way that went. I can remember travelling to Birmingham and staying by the NEC. I can even remember getting picked up by Ron and one of his mates in a green Rolls Royce from the hotel to go to Cadbury's, which was typical Ron, a bit over the top. But yeah, I can remember games. I remember details to games. It's just one of those things that sticks in your mind.
Such a big club as well.
Yeah, I mean, coming from obviously 2 years earlier, I'd been playing non-league at Weymouth. So to go from Weymouth 2 years later down the line through Bournemouth and into Villa Park was incredible. From tiny little Weymouth with the 5,000 all standing stadium or whatever it was to Bournemouth, which probably only held about 8,000 at the time, into Villa Park at 40 odd thousand. But I enjoyed it. I loved it. The people say, was there any pressure on me? No, not really, because I had nothing to lose, did I? I had everything to gain and nothing to lose. So it was a case of go in there and show people what I could do.
I'll go to the next question then. Can you just go up a bit in the notes? Scroll up a bit. Just get the next question.
No problem.
Can you just scroll up a bit more? I think you missed it. So if you go the other way. Yeah. So I go on. Okay, then. So, can you describe what Ron Atkinson was like?
Quite loud, quite brash, quite full of himself. Had a big opinion of himself. But I mean, when I signed, I got on famously with Ron from day one. We had a real good player manager relationship. Up until my last season at Villa, when everything soured badly, and he might not say fell out, but I certainly fell out with him over things that were done, things that were said, things that were written. So, it didn't fit. He got the sack in November, and if I'm quite honest, I was glad to see the back of him because he'd dropped me by then. He'd left me out the team, and I wasn't happy.
So, was he strict, Ron Atkinson, in the dressing room?
No, I wouldn't say so. Not really. I mean, if things weren't going well, he was quite happy to raise his voice and have a pop at a few people. I mean, obviously the game's evolved so much now that really doesn't happen, where a manager goes after a player in the dressing room because of a a pass or a header or whatever. It's more of an accumulation of team effort now. Whereas in those days, if you had a bad game, you certainly knew it by the time you got off the park after the game.
So over the years, I think managers have changed over the years as well.
I think a lot of it's down to
and all that,
I think a lot of it's down to the players have so much more power, and the players won't. I don't think the players will sit there and take abuse off a manager anymore like we used to. I see videos of like Neil Warnock back in his Sheffield United days berating players in the dressing room, effing this and effing that, and you're this and you're that. I certainly don't think that happens anymore. I think the game's moved on well past that now. And it's more about coercing players into doing, putting them into a system and teaching them the system and making them understand the system. So, we don't get that many real bad performances.
So we're going to talk about a very big day in the club's history. So what was it like winning the League Cup at Wembley Stadium in 1994 against Manchester United?
Well, the day was a fabulous day. I mean, to be fair, the whole competition was extraordinary because obviously we started with the two legs up with Birmingham City winning them. Then we went to Sunderland and got absolutely battered and won 4-1, which is the strangest game I've ever played in. To go into Arsenal away and winning, Tottenham away at winning, and then of course the legendary 2 semi-finals against Tranmere. So to get there after so many games was just unbelievable. And as a kid growing up, the one thing you want to do is play for a big club and get to Wembley and win a trophy. And touch wood, I was lucky enough to do that with a club that meant everything to me.
Because Wembley is a great day out for the fans as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I went to the playoff finals, the one against Fulham where we got beaten, and obviously the one against Derby where we got through. And just great atmosphere, great day, great to be in with all the fans. Having a drink, having a laugh. Me and my wife had 2 fantastic trips down to Wembley to watch Villa.
I've been a few times. I've been there a few times.
Yeah, it's just a great day out, and obviously made even greater when you get the result you want. So the Derby one especially was fantastic. I mean, I was stood watching. There was me, Carroll, and Stan Collymore, Brian Small, and you've never seen so many grown ex-footballers blubber in the stands after we won as me and Stan.
Because also as well, I bet like the day that you won the League Cup, I think it's a very proud moment for your family watching as well. Like.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in them days, the way the tickets were cut up, I think every player had the possibility to buy 25 tickets each. And of course, every player bought 25 tickets each because your friends, your family, everybody wants to go. So I had 25 of my family and friends down there. Immensely proud day for me, for my family, for my mum and dad, for Carol and the boys, and my mates. My mates had a terrific day out and loved every minute of it.
Well, in the build-up to that final, in the semi-final against Tranmere Rovers, you scored.
I did. I know it's rare, and I know you sound shocked, but everybody thinks it was a free kick that was meant. So Rico took the free kick, and I came running at the back post with the diving header to head it in. But
it was a good header.
It was because it was far from the truth because Rico took it way before I was anywhere near the penalty area. So he left me no choice but just to sprint into an area. And luckily enough for me, it went over the centre half's head and I had a good view of the ball. It hit the right corner of my head and went in the opposite corner. I mean, it looks amazing when you watch it back on video still, and I've watched it hundreds of times. It looks like it's really planned, but it certainly wasn't. But it was another, Dino had already scored, so it pulled us level. So then it gave Villa Park that belief that we could do it.
Because wasn't we 3-1 down, was we?
Yeah, we were 3-1 down from the first leg. Unfortunately, I didn't play in the first leg because I was suspended, so we won't go into that for fighting at Grimsby. So I went up to Tranmere and watched the first leg, and to be quite honest, we could have ended up getting beat 5. They were very good on the night. We were very poor.
Were they a good side back then?
They weren't. They weren't a bad side. They had a good team ethic of working hard. They had good players in the side. You know, the Nevins and the Aldridges and people like that. And of course, I signed for them after I left Villa, so I got to know all those lads really well. And they were a real good bunch of lads, and they stuck together through thick and thin. But you know, the second leg, as the first leg, we were that poor. The second leg, we were so much better. You know, and in the end, all right, we scored 2 minutes from the end of normal time to take it to extra time. Extra time was a bit of a non-event, and then it went to the penalties. Of course,
that was a great game.
Oh, it was a great game. Great atmosphere as well. It's the best atmosphere I've ever heard at Villa Park, even to this day.
What was it like? Did you play with Paul McGrath?
I did. Paul was my partner for the 4 years I was there, really.
Well, because with Paul McGrath, I mean, he's arguably one of the best Aston Villa players ever.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I would probably go as far as he probably is the best. I mean, he's probably at that stage in his career, he was probably one of the best centre halves in the world.
Yes.
You know, and that wasn't born out of fitness or anything like that. That was just born out of natural ability. You know, he knew how to play that position with his eyes shut. And it was always a pleasure playing with Paul. We got on really well. We had a great bond right from day one. And I think we got better and better as the seasons went by. You know, and when I look back, the team I played in was a fabulous team. You know, your Kevin Richardsons, your Earl Barrett, Steve Staunton's, Dino and Daly up front. We had such a good side. I suppose the biggest disappointment for that team was we didn't win the title in '92 when we probably should have.
Does it come back United? Can you come close? Come back United with the title that year?
Yeah, but I think at one point we were 6 points ahead, and we just hit a real bad patch right at the end. I think we got beat by Coventry, we got beat by Blackburn. Oldham came to Villa Park and turned us over, and we just for some reason we couldn't keep the goals out. We couldn't score them. And it just fell away. I think we ended up losing the title by 10 points in the end, which was incredible considering they weren't 10 points better than us.
And going back to Paul McGrath, I mean, he's God to the Aston Villa fans, God.
Yeah, well, I can quite understand that. I mean, when you look at the list of centre backs that have played for Villa, it's some list. You know, your Larsons and your Mellbergs and even before that, your Alan Evans and your Ken McNaughts. But I certainly think Paul was the best out of them all.
And can you describe the feeling of what it was like to play for Aston Villa?
A privilege. It was certainly a privilege. I mean, I'd had such an up and down career up to the age of 24 when I signed at 27. Sorry, when I signed for Villa. You know, I'd been at Everton as a kid. I'd played non-league football for 7 years before I became a pro at 24 at Bournemouth, moving to Villa at 27. So, you know, that's pretty much unheard of nowadays. So, you know, it was just to be there, to be part of that team, to be part of that club, was just everything to me.
It's a big responsibility playing for a club like Aston Villa.
Of course, because you know you're not playing for yourself, although you are playing for yourself you're playing for your teammates as well. But you know you're playing for a big crowd every week. You're playing for a fan base that's huge that demands that they get the effort out of you week in week out. But I loved it. The more the fans took to me, the more I enjoyed the whole experience. You know, and I'm very lucky. I still have a fantastic rapport with thousands and thousands of fans at Villa Park that I know personally. And you know, I go as much as I can. and it's always a pleasure to walk into Villa Park, see people I know, shake hands, have a pint with people I know, and I love going.
I saw a few weeks ago that you was on the pitch.
Yeah. So obviously, a few weeks ago was this year is the 30th anniversary of the '94 Cup win. So myself, Tony Daly, and Neil Cox were invited onto the pitch as we were at the club anyway, because we were all working on that day, doing the corporate hospitality bit. So yeah, it was nice. It was great to go on the pitch again. It's been so long, and with so many fans there. I think last time I was on the pitch, I played in Soccer Aid, and there was one man and his dog in the corner somewhere. And the time before that would have been 2003 in the FA Trophy final against Fabersko, where I was player manager against Tamworth, and there was 14,000 in the ground. Well, you can imagine 14,000 in Villa Park looks like a few dots here and there. So, listen, the atmosphere at Villa Park was always brilliant, and I used to look forward to every game at Villa Park.
Also, it's nice that after all these years, you get the recognition. To what you did, like you get like the recognition for
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to get the recognition. It's nice to be liked by people, to be liked by the fans. And I always appreciate that. I always appreciate that they appreciate what I did as a player. So I appreciate what they do as supporters.
And so, if you wasn't a footballer, what else would you have done if you could go back in time? If you wasn't
before I became a full-time professional footballer, I'd done my City and Guilds in painting and decorating, so I was a qualified painter and decorator, and that's before I went to Bournemouth. That's what I was doing down in Weymouth, playing part-time and painting and decorating during the week. And I enjoyed it. It's a job that I enjoy doing. I still do little bits here and there. Obviously, at the moment, I don't do anything, so. But I enjoy it. I like being out and about and doing. I don't like sitting around. I'm not one for sitting doing nothing.
Well, when you chose to be a footballer, there's no going back then. There was no going back.
No, that's it. Once, I mean, it was difficult in the early years because there was not a lot of money in non-league, so you had to work as well. You didn't really have a choice. And even when I moved to Weymouth, and I was on considerably more than I've been on up north where I lived and grew up, until I became a full-time pro, then that was par for the course. You worked and you played your part-time football, but obviously becoming a full-time pro was what I always wanted to do, and I always hoped that would happen. So it was a massive day when I signed my first pro contract.
We'll go to the next one then. Can you scroll up the notes? You're on the other entry. Keep going. Yeah, okay, ask you the next one. So, which Aston Villa player did you enjoy playing with the most?
Well, I'd have to say Paul, because obviously we formed a partnership. But you know what? I love playing with the whole of the team I played with. Rico was a great captain for us at the time. We had some fun and games in the dressing room with people like Dean Saunders and Daly and Andy Townsend. We had a real good mixture of experienced players and youth, obviously Froggy and people like that. So it was just a great time to be an Aston Villa player.
Was Tony Daly in the team that you played in?
Yeah. Dales played in the cup final in '94. In fact, Tony at the post when, which was the upshot to Daly and having the shot that Kanchelski saved on the line with his hands, which gave us the penalty. So yeah, Tony. I mean, I see Tony all the time. Tony's always down at Villa Park, and we do some of the work together at Villa Park. And we do quite a lot of Q&As out and about in Birmingham over different times of the year.
Well, I met Gary Thompson and Tony Morley last week.
Well, there's two for you. Tony and Gary. Both great players for the club. Both did a lot for the club. And and both great lads. You know, I know them both really well, and you know, it's always a pleasure to be in their company.
So, did you feel proud of being part of the Premier League runners-up team in 1993?
Yeah, I'm immensely proud of it, and one of the reasons I suppose is that since then we've never bettered that. Second is the best we've ever done, and that was the team I played in. So you know, I know how tough it is to win a Premier League or to get even that close, and it's really tough. And obviously, with the influx of foreign stars that have come in since then, it's probably even tougher now because there's better players, there's more technical players in the league now than there was when I played. And I'm not saying that to disregard the players that were in the league, because there was some terrific players in the league at that stage. But you know, the game has moved on, and wages have gone up, and better players have come in. But yeah, immensely proud. I think, you know, to still be in that Villa team, that the only Villa team to finish second, and run the title really close was a major achievement.
The thing is, with Unai Emery, we might be challenging for title soon.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, and to be quite honest, I hope we are. Because put it this way, if that little statement about coming second disappears because we've done better than that, then the only way to do better than that is to win it, which would be, for the club, would be a magical achievement, given the finances of the so-called Big Six and what have you. But we're in a good position. We're building. I think it's a project that's going the right way. Well, it certainly is going the right way. You know, and again, I'll say it again, in Unai Emery, we trust, because he knows what he wants. He knows the way he wants to play, and he knows the players to fit into that system.
Yeah, because with Unai as well, it's an incredible transformation in 18 months, in a short space of time.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. I mean, from the dark, gloomy days of Steven Gerrard, where, let's face it, nobody could see where we were going and what we were trying to do, to basically what, at the time when he came in, he took over the same set of players and literally spun it on its head within weeks, to the point where, you know, we end up climbing all the way up the league and finishing in our highest position for quite a long time. And then, of course, we get into Europe, which is a major boost for any club. And people can knock the Europa Conference League, but it is what it is. It's a European cup. And at the end of the day, I don't see West Ham fans complaining about winning it too often. Do you?
Do you think it's a trophy? You want to win silverware?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, it's been way too long since we last won 20. Excuse me, that's my dog's barking. It's been 28 years since we last won a trophy, which is way too long. Way too long.
I think that 5 years ago we was in the Championship.
Exactly. So,
you know, it's just amazing.
Yeah, look at the turnaround. 5 years later, and we're fourth in the Premier League. We're in a semi-final of a European competition. I suppose if I had one regret overall that time, the regret for the club would be that we haven't done better in the FA Cup. We every year we seem to just, I don't know. This year, for instance, we go to Chelsea, we get a creditable draw, bring them back to Villa Park, and then fall apart. You know, and it's a strange phenomenon why we can't do better in the cup competitions.
I was 7 points clear of Tottenham, which is a great position.
Well, yeah, a fabulous position. I mean, you know, they go to Liverpool this weekend, and I know Liverpool have struggled just of late, but they go to Liverpool, and I don't expect them to get anything at Anfield. And we go to Brighton, and it's a Brighton team that are nothing like the Brighton team that we've beaten. I think last 5 times we've played Brighton, we've beat them. So
good record.
I would be looking for us to go to Brighton and win the game. They've got a huge injury list like us as well, so a lot of their star players.
Well,
are
the last
missing
few years we've won a few times the last a couple of
Yeah.
seasons.
Well, we haven't lost to them in the last 5 games, so and that includes 2 away games, I think. So, it's there for us to go and take the 3 points and give ourselves and of course we play before Liverpool, Tottenham, so we could be 10 points ahead before Tottenham run out at Anfield. And I think if we win and they don't win, I think that's it. I think it's over. I think we'll definitely finish
One
fourth.
more win. I think one more win will do it. I think get one more win.
I said when Tottenham had the 6 games left that they'll only get 6 points from the last 6 games because they play Burnley and Sheffield United, and that's the only reason they'll win any of them games. I think they'll lose the other 4. Well, they've lost 2 now already. They've got Liverpool City to go as well. So I can't see them getting 6 points, never mind getting more than 7 points to overtake us anyway.
So what have you been doing since you retired from football? What do you do?
I've done a few different things. I went over to the States coaching for a few years, for 3 years. Loved it. Had a great time over in the States. And then I came back and I've done back to my painting and decorating, back to a bit of building work, this, that and the other. And then I've took time out, played golf. I basically do what I want to do nowadays. If I don't want to do anything, I don't do it. I just go and enjoy myself.
Just good to keep mentally motivated. Just keep busy. That's it. Just keep
busy.
Yeah.
Well, like I said before, I'm not one to. I'm not a couch potato. This is killing me having to sit here for weeks on weeks now doing nothing. Although I fully intend to be back to Villa Park as soon as they ask me to work at the next game, which I'm hoping will be Liverpool, and then
I'm a season ticket holder.
Yeah, so well, you're lucky because we can't get one.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, let me talk about it a little bit, Shaun. So, what is your thoughts on our current squad and Unai Emery?
Well, I think Unai Emery to start with is the perfect fit for the club. He came in at the perfect time for him. I think he wanted to come back to England because he had a point to prove over the mess that was Arsenal after he took over there. And I think he was given basically by the owners a free rein to build a dynasty as such. And I think he's well on the way to doing that. Squad-wise, I think we've got a really good squad. There are parts of the squad that could be upgraded, and I think that goes with every club in the land. Maybe not Man City, but I think every other club, there's upgrades to be had. I think, you only have to look at the likes of Morgan Rogers coming in from Middlesbrough, and it just shows you don't have to spend hugely to get quality.
Emery seems to improve everybody on that pitch. He improves everybody.
And that's the thing. I mean, the biggest example of that is Ollie himself. Look at Ollie. Ollie was playing okay, but couldn't hit a barn door for whatever reason. His finishing was erratic. He was snatching at things. Now look at him. When Ollie gets 1-on-1 against a defender, for 99% of the time you expect him to get half a yard and finish.
I think it's the best striker in the Premier League. I think Watkins,
On current form,
it's not just what he does with his goals, what he contributes as well.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking at goal scoring centre forwards, you'd probably look at Haaland, but for an all-round game of creating and scoring, then I don't disagree. I think Ollie's up there with the best of them.
Going back to Unai Emery, he's gave us that winning mentality.
Yeah, I think the thing with Unai is he has such a distinct style of play that he teaches the players to fit into it, not so much. He doesn't buy players to fit into it. He knows the players or the type of players he wants. The demeanor, the way they hold themselves, the way they play the game, and then he fits them into his system. He bought Pau Torres in for one simple reason, because he knew Pau Torres could organise that back line and come out with
ability.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what I was just about to say. He's the one that comes out with the ball at his feet and picks the pass to get us moving the other way. And he's been a fantastic acquisition this year, Pau Torres.
So we're playing Brighton on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to be your score prediction?
I'm going to go for. I think we'll win 3-1.
I'm going to go 2-1.
I always give the other team a goal because we always seem to gift somebody a goal. We always have that mad 2 seconds where
we seem to concede. Yeah.
We just give silly goals away at times. You think, what are we doing? And it wouldn't surprise me if that happens again. But hey, if we win 3-1 or 2-1, I'd be delighted.
Also, Shaun, could you spread the word about my podcast?
I certainly will. Of course I will.
Guys, go spreading it as well as Aston Villa topics. Just bringing the awareness of Duchenne muscular dystrophy as well.
Exactly. And the more people that know and understand that about the illness or is it an illness or is it a disease?
It's not a disease, it's a progressive.
Do you want a drink? Sure.
I'm just doing a podcast. Yeah, thank you.
Is that your nurse?
yeah. What was you saying again? Sorry.
Tell her I'll have a coffee with 2 sugars. I think awareness is everything. We've got so many of these types of illnesses within the human race now that the more we can do for all of them, the better.
Because what it is, I used to be able to walk. I did. It's impressive over the years. I was diagnosed when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
Despite that, I always try and keep strong. I don't have bad days, but I keep strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're always going to have bad days, aren't you? But the more you, I mean, this must be great doing this for you because it gives you that interest, it gives you that thing to look forward to. If you didn't have that and you had your problems, I can imagine it being a really, really tough existence of what to do because you can't do anything really.
Yeah. It's life limiting, but with better care now. Some men are living longer, but it is a horrible disease. But we get more awareness about it.
Yeah,
but more people aware. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate you doing that for me.
Yeah, that's fine, no problem.
Gonna try to get some more subscribers as well.
Yeah. What did you say before? You got 900 at the moment.
Yes, I'm gonna get close to 1,000.
Yeah, you need to get over that 1,000, don't you?
We'll definitely get there.
Yeah. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, well, before we finish, Shaun, I'm going to read out some comments.
Okay.
We'll just pick a few out. Thank you, everybody's comments tonight. We've got Michael Huggins. Kate, I'll sit in the upper dug at it. My son was born 2 days before that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for your comment, Michael. You Kate Webster, amazing, Michael. Yeah, appreciate that comment. Kate Webster, I was in the upper dug too. That's where the away fans sit now. And there used to be the home fan section. Yeah, I really appreciate the support, guys. This is Michael Huggins. A question for Shaun. I'm sure your wife used to call into a local radio station.
What, BRMB?
Oh yeah, it pretty might have been something like that, I reckon.
Yeah, I used to do quite a lot with BRMB when I was playing, so I would go in there quite often because Tom Ross was there and George, and we'd go in and do little bits and bobs, and we'd do charity things with them and this, that, and the other. So yeah, she did used to go in there quite a lot.
Remember the BRMB days? Let's have a look at some of the comments. There's a good someone like KJ Wilson. Go up a little bit. Yeah. We've got KJ Wilson. Hope you're feeling better, Chad. Excellent interview with Shaun. Nothing get up the Villa. Yeah, up the Villa to you as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well, yeah, I think that'll do. Thank you all for your comments. I can bring up my Ultra thing on my iPad. If you go on brand.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just get my iPad on? That'll do it, yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed that episode, Shaun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it the thumbs up. Share this video as well. Also, make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new content. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this podcast. Thank you so much, Shaun, for your time.
You're welcome. No problem, Chad.
I'm going to wrap up this episode with Up the Villa.
You want me